in this very first transformation, we are going to cover from manage columns. Okay. So we're going to cover from manage columns. There's an option called manage columns. As you can see here, we have a manage columns option here. For example, you can see this is the main part like this. There's a kind of partitioning done. You can see these three are put into one. Again, this one is put into one, right? The manage columns is, this is put into one, right? Reduce rows is put into one. So each couple of transformations are put into one category. So we'll try to go category by category so that we'll cover it easily. Okay. First, we're going to understand what is manage columns. You can notice this particular dim customer table that you getting here has got 30 columns if you observe in the below, right? This 30 columns, you wanted to navigate it to maybe some 25th column. Okay, wanted to navigate to some 25th column. Let's say there is something called French occupation. Okay, so you wanted to go to that French occupation, but again, you have to scroll through the right, and let's say 30 columns have 60 columns. So what do? You need to keep scrolling, right? So in that case, it is very easy to use this choose columns option. Using choose columns option, we can actually select this option and can directly navigate or select that particular column. Let's say I want only that column. Let's say I want only specific columns in my table. So we can use this choose columns. Okay. So for navigating, we need to use go to column. Okay. We can select go to column and French occupation. I can just select that column and click on OK. So automatically this will be navigated to that particular column, as you have noticed here, right? So this is easier way to navigate if you have so many columns in your table. And also, let's say we wanted to have only 4 or 5 columns out of this 30 columns, right? So ideally what I used to do, I used to select 4 or 5 columns and remove other columns. Let's say I'm interested in these 3 columns and I don't want other columns. So I can do one more thing, right click and remove other columns. But the same thing can be achieved here. Simply you can choose columns and you can just choose what the columns you require. For example, I'm interested in getting first name, last name, birth rate, marital status, email address. Okay. So you can directly use whatever is required rather than having all of them. So these are the ones which I'm interested to keep in my query. So I can select them and click on OK. Automatically your report, your table will be having only those columns that you are required. So this is an easier way to kind of keep the columns that you needed. Okay. So again, this is same as equal to the removed column step. You can see the step is also naming like removed other columns. So instead of selecting those columns and right clicking and remove other columns, you can use choose columns and do this activity. Okay. So this is all about choose columns and go to column. Okay.